Mr. Rubo here, going over this formative. So here, the first problem in the formative wanted us to graph the parent function of f of x, then graph f of x itself, state the domain and range in either set or interval notation. So first off, we'll just go right ahead and look at what the parent function is. Hopefully we can identify it fairly easily because of those absolute value signs. So let me go ahead and graph that parent function. We know the vertex for absolute value starts at 0, and then nice easy points going, basically slope of 1 here, slope of -1 here, and it would continue on forever. So I'm going to do that in nice dotted lines, pretend that actually connected. Alright, so now let's look at the different transformations. I usually like to start from the inside out because that's kind of how we go through the transformations anyways. So here, the x minus 5, that minus 5 tells us we're going to go to the right 5 with all these points. Okay. Then the -2 tells us we are going to reflect over x-axis, so a vertical reflection, if you will. Oh, that was weird. And then also the vertical stretch, and specifically by 2, because that's the number. And then the last one, let's see if this yellow comes up. Yeah, it sort of does. Is the +3, which is our vertical shift. So we're going up 3. Okay. So we are going to do all these transformations to these points in this order, right? So we're going to move all the points to the right 5. And I know I did a lot of points, but, do enough so you can actually see the graph and see the shape of the graph. So you may only want to do 3 points, maybe 5 points. I did 7, so that should be more than enough. All right, so now the red tells me to not only reflect, but then to also multiply the y value by 2. So really I'm taking the y value and I'm multiplying by -2. So this one will stay the same because it's at 0 for the y value. This one was at 1. Multiply 1 by -2 gives you -2. All right, same with this one. Okay, and I'm actually going to move this up a little bit. And we're going to keep going with this. I'm still on the red, good. This point was at 2, so it'll be at -4. 2, also at -4. Same thing with this one, 3, so it'll go down to -6. So we can kind of see that we've reflected and we've kind of stretched it at the same time. So now this V gets a little bit narrower. Alright, so now, going back up, the last thing we have to do is shift it up 3. So I'll do that in yellow. So we just take all our points, move them directly up 3. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's really nice when you have different colors, if you're able to do it, because you can do each color is a different transformation. Obviously, if you don't have different colors, as you do these, you may want to erase or just do it lighter. But because we have just finished our last transformation, we did over 5, reflect over x-axis, and we did the vertical stretch, and then we did the up 3. So now we are done, other than connecting the line. And this one I'm going to make solid because that is my answer. Man, I missed. That's okay. Pretend it goes through these points. All right, so there's our graph. Last but not least, we do have to state its domain. Personally, I feel that interval notation here would be the less writing, so I'm going to do interval. So absolute value, there's no restrictions with absolute value in terms of the domain. You can see it on the graph. We have arrows on the left side of the graph, we have arrows on the right side. So we're going from negative infinity to positive infinity, right? So that's easy to identify from the graph, or you just know it from absolute value. The range, though, a little bit harder to figure out without looking at the graph. You can, but it's a little easier just to look right off the graph and see my highest point is 3. I have arrows pointing down, so my lowest point is negative infinity. So it goes negative infinity all the way up to 3. And because 3 is a coordinate point that is filled in, I'm including it, and that didn't turn right. There we go. So I've got that bracket for that range. All right. So yeah, so my graph is in yellow, domain and range right there. The graph in green is the parent function. That's where we're basing it all off of. So hopefully you'll learn something, and yeah, thanks for watching.